Let me take you to the big apple of South Africa, a concrete jungle, Johannesburg, the city of gold. This city is situated in Gauteng province. It is known for its vibrance, fashion, and it doesn't sleep. It is also known for being a city of gold because Gauteng was known to have been a rich city for its natural resources, of course, specifically gold. This city is also known to be a city that is alive with possibilities. You can be whoever you want to be, only if you live in Gauteng. We all know that long time ago, our parents would travel kilometers away to just go and work in order for them to provide for their families back in the villages. As I said, Gauteng has got its own dark side, and that's what we're going to be talking about on this video. We're taking a deep dive to this story or a case of Sifiso Mkhwanazi, a 21-year-old who killed 6 prostitutes in Gauteng. As you all know that it is alive with possibilities, and it is also known as a hub for prostitution. Dumela Kazi, welcome back to the cafe. Libito la K. If you are new here, welcome, and if you are returning Sabi, thank you so much for gracing us with your presence. On this video, we are taking a deep dive to a case that is very sensitive. It is still in progress, even though it is almost at its completion. We are talking about a case of a 21-year-old Sifiso Mkhwanazi who killed 6 Zimbabwean prostitutes after he actually had an intercourse with them. So without wasting any more time, let's get into this video. Before we dive deep into this case, let us quickly summarize Sifiso's childhood. Sifiso was born in Soweto, raised by a single woman who was also raising a daughter. On the other hand, Sifiso's dad, born in Uganda, a businessman who owns an auto mechanical business, a Muslim religious man, and a polygamous man. Sifiso was not different from any other child or any other children that were raised around Soweto. He attended a primary school around Soweto. He also was a child who was loving soccer. He loved studying. He loved math and science. And he was also deemed as a very shy and quiet person. This first 10 years of Sifiso, it was only him as well as his mom, including obviously the sister. 10 years later, in his childhood, while he's attending his school and he's just living his life as a normal child, the dad pitches up. The dad wanted to mend his relationship with his young son, obviously, and fortunately the mom agreed that he can always visit Sifiso to actually build a relationship with him. It was not long. In 2017, unfortunately, Sifiso's mom passed on due to heart attack. Sifiso at this time, he was still going to school. He still loved his education, and at this time he also envisioned himself furthering his studies within the field of math and science. At this time as well, this is the time that the dad decided to ask Sifiso to come and work with him at his auto mechanical business in Johannesburg. As Sifiso loved school, he loved his education, he loved his math and science, refused to do this because he wanted to proceed with his education. It doesn't mean that the mom is now gone and he cannot proceed his education. But unfortunately also, when you are a child, you don't really have much choices. When an adult is saying that this is what you need to do, that's the only thing that you will have to do. Sifiso's dad was able to take Sifiso away from Soweto, and Sifiso had to go and live with one of the wives, as well as Sifiso's dad and the siblings, obviously the half siblings of Sifiso, because I cannot say it's step siblings, because obviously it is the dad's children, so it is the half siblings. That's what you call it, right? I hope I'm calling it right. But anyway, so now Sifiso is living with the dad and the wife, and he's still wanting to attend school. So the dad decides to actually take Sifiso to a Muslim school that instills obviously values and good manners and all of those things. And this school happened to have no choices of subjects. So this school was strictly for religious purposes, strictly for Muslim, and you had no choice to choose any subjects. So this time around, Sifiso was not really happy about this whole thing, because he wanted to actually proceed with his math and science, or proceed with his studies as per normal as he was doing in Soweto. So now the dad, obviously you will sit down with your dad, or you'll talk to your dad that I'm not happy with this and this and that and that. The dad decided to take Sifiso out from that school, taking him to a different Muslim school, but this school had multiple choices of actual subjects. So this is the time where Sifiso was able to actually proceed with his love for math and science. And at that time still, he had an urge to actually pursue something within the field of math and science. Unfortunately, 2019, COVID hits, things are shutting down, everything is like in standstill, and this time Sifiso's dad tried to convince Sifiso to come and work for him or work with him at this auto mechanical place in Johannesburg, which he rented. Obviously, at this time, Sifiso cannot do anything. He cannot go out and play soccer. He cannot go to school. There is no other excuses to actually go and work for this meal. We don't know how this was asked. He was forced to do it, and all of those things. We don't know, but we know that he did go and work for his dad. And at this point of time, and also I have to highlight the fact that most of the religion groups, they don't allow sex before marriage, and this is the same thing in the religion, in the Muslim community. You're not allowed to have sex before marriage. You're not allowed to have relationships before marriage. And Sifiso had no girlfriend, nothing at this point of time, not that we know of, right? And at this time, obviously, he's going to work with his dad and all of those things. But now he knows that at this particular time, the dad is no longer there. No one is there. And he can be able to go back there and do things in that automobile or auto mechanical place. So he was at this point of time, he's able to drive, and he's driving his father's car, is able to travel from one place to another. So he's able to travel from home to the actual establishment or to the actual compound. So this compound has got like floors and stuff like that. So you go to offices. So there are other places that you can access in this building, but obviously they did not utilize those places. They were only utilizing this bigger space whereby they are penal beating cars and stuff like that. So Sifiso decided to say, you know what, I am ready to actually do this intercourse thing. I'm ready to have like fun with women and exploring that kind of my sexuality and all of those things. So the only thing that he could do was, or the only thing that he thought he could do, is to actually get prostitutes. This is what he did. So he was doing this prostitute. He was getting the prostitutes, and he was going to this compound or this establishment during weekends most of the times, because this is when the dad decided to go home, closes the business, because obviously there is nothing going on, or they've got their schedule, like I'm working till 1 o'clock, and after 1 o'clock they close, and he goes back to the family and they do the family things. And this is the chance that Sifiso was getting to actually go and obviously do his things at that compound. And obviously on this compound there's a CCTV camera, and this compound there's a security, because it's a building, it's a rented building, so they have to have all those things. And there's also a caretaker of the whole building, because it's not only the actual establishment of his father, there are other things that are going on in this building, because it's a bigger building, right? So so now fast forward, it is 2021. Sifiso decides to go and do his thing again, go fetches a prostitute, and this prostitute happens to be a Zimbabwean prostitute, right? He decides to take this prostitute home, or rather to the compound, and obviously do his things, and he left. So after he left, 2 days later, the police are coming, and he's getting arrested, because obviously the actual prostitute went and opened a case because she claimed that Sifiso raped her, right? Okay, cool. Sifiso is taken to Sun City prison, and he is waiting for trial. And months are passing. Sifiso is still there, awaiting for trial, and now it's like almost a year, over 10 months. Sifiso is still there, no court case that was attended, nothing. And after 10 months, or 10 months later, the case is withdrawn. The case is withdrawn. So Sifiso had to be released from wherever he was in Sun City back at home. At this point of time, Sifiso says that this lady was lying. He never raped her. Yes, they did have a consensual or a transactional sex with her, because obviously she's a prostitute and he is a client, and this lady wanted more money, and Sifiso refused to give her more money. That's when this lady threatens to go and open a case of rape, and that's what she did, that Sifiso raped her. And 10 months later, she decides to withdraw the case, and that case like fell through, and there was nothing going on. And at this time, when Sifiso came out from jail, Sifiso was enraged. He says he was angry at each and every prostitute. So as I said, the first prostitute where he had to spend 10 months in prison was a Zimbabwean. So he decided to go and do the same thing, which is going to the actual CBD, get a girl, and they go to the compound. And he does the same thing, obviously, several times. He does the same thing several times. But there was this one time, and now the date is actually the 9th of October 2022. Around 8 a.m. the caretaker is doing his routine work and stuff like that, but he decided to actually go to the compound to wash his car. So he is with his 4-year-old son, and they go into the building, they greet the security, and they wanted to go to one of the actual unoccupied rooms, or the actual rooms, a room that had cleaning stuff like your brooms and all of those things. He wanted a bucket, and obviously get some water with the bucket, and some cloths to wash the car. But then when he enters this building, there's this foul stench, there's this smell that he doesn't know what type of a smell is this one. He just feel like there's something wrong here. And then he decides to go and search for the smell. So he goes to office number 1, which is these places that are not occupied. And in this first office or first building, which is in this room, in this actual building next to this establishment, his father's establishment, the smell is not really in there. He cannot find anything. And then he goes to the second room. The smell is intensifying. Then he decides to go to the third room. And when he opens the door of the third room, my God, this smell hits him so hard, to the point that he decided to take out his cell phone, switch on the cell phone so that he can see, because it's dark here. There is no electricity or there is no light in these rooms because they are not used. When he switch on the light, he stumbles into something that looks like a body, like a dead person. So he rushed out and he screams in like rage, outrageously screaming and talking to and actually calling the actual security. The security comes. When the security comes in, they switch on the phone and the security confirms that this is a dead person. At this particular time, guys, if you don't want to hear this part, I would mark it as a content warning, because I'm about to be a bit, I'm not gonna go into deep details, but I'm about to be a bit scary when I get to this part, because I need to explain how was this body looking like. So this is the shocking details of the actual body that was found by these two, which is the caretaker and the security. So the body was at its early stages of decomposition, and obviously it was in October. It was hot in Johannesburg, and this room had no ventilation that was visible, so that means the process of decomposition was quicker than the normal decomposition where there is ventilation. So this body was at a stage whereby the body fluids were going out, and this body was inflated, and also on top of that, on the belly, there was something that is coming out, which was a fetus. So a baby was coming out from the belly of this poor lady who was murdered by this guy. So at this point of time, when they see these things, as I said, I'm not going to go into deep details. I'm just going to quickly brush it up on top, because I don't want to actually be that explicit on this video. So at this point of time, the actual security says, no, this is too much, and he calls the actual person who's renting this place. So this is Mike Khumalo, who is obviously the father of this guy who did all this heinous crime, Sifiso, right? So he calls Mike. Mike, where are you? Because there's something at this place. We found a body in your compound, and you have to be here. And the father at that time is going nuts, and when he's going nuts, he's going to this place, he's going to this compound, he's driving immediately, and he gets to the compound. When he gets to the compound, they see, he goes in, he sees this is what is happening, and in his mind he's like, no ways, I know what happened here, or I think I have an idea what happened here. So they decide to call the police. The police come and obviously take the statement and do all the whatever police do, mark this place and get like a lot of evidence and all of those things, like get all the stuff that they have to get, like what they do, right? So at that time, the father decides to call Sifiso. Hi Sifiso, I'm coming home, I need to pick up something, and please go to the gate and bring me this certain thing, or go to the gate and open the gate. That part was a bit not really visible enough for me to actually notice what was said. Or did he come did he go to the gate with something, or he was supposed to open a gate? I think he was supposed to open a gate. So Sifiso decided to say, okay, cool, I'm gonna open the gate. Obviously they did not tell him what is the issue at the compound. So at the compound now, it's the dad, it's the securities, like private securities that were around this building and stuff like that. There's police as well. So the dad decides to say, you know what, we need to actually go to Sifiso, because I think Sifiso knows about what is going on here, right? So they decide to hop into the car. In the car, one of the cars, there's securities and there's police as well, right? Then they go. When they get to the house, or which is Sifiso's home or the father's home, Sifiso tried to run, and at that time the dad noticed that, okay, this one, I think he knows what is going on, because obviously you come with everybody, you come with the police, you come with the securities and stuff like that. Sifiso decides to try to run, and the dad was already on him, and then they were able to outsmart him. Then they take him to the compound, and they showed him what is going on, and Sifiso says he knows nothing about what happened there. He is not involved, he doesn't know anything. But then again, the actual security, as well as the caretaker, they say, no ways, you always came here with women, like you were coming here with women all the time, and at some point there was a time a week ago that you came in with one woman, and then we didn't see you going out with that woman, right? You would come here most of the times on Saturdays and Sundays with women, and then we would see you going out, and at some point we don't see you going out with these women. You come in with a gate with the actual car, and then when you go out, nothing is going on. Obviously they see it on the CCTV camera, and so thought that I got them right here in my palm. But then again, you never know what happens on this case. So fast forward, the police are done with all that. Sifiso is taken to custody, obviously, and the police remove the body and everything. Now the actual the dad wants to go, and he wanted to go to the loo. When he goes to the loo, he stumbles again. He sees something like a body next to the big aircon vent. And on this aircon vent, just below this aircon vent, it's the time that they were cleaning this everything, and there was water that is running down to the aircon vent actually at that time. And now he sees this body, and when he sees this body, he's like, no ways, this is just after they actually, the police are gone. The police did not search the place. The police only took what they came for, which is the body that they were called about, and that was it. And I don't think it is fair for me if I would say the police should have searched the whole place before they left with the body, because this is what is happening now, and this is what you need to deal with. They cannot come and search the whole building and stuff like that. They still have to have like some sort of a warrant to search the building, right? That's what I'm thinking. So the police did not search the building because all these bodies were in the building. That's why this guy got to a area where there was another body, right? Okay, cool. They call the police. The police come back again in the same place with another body. Now they start to have an idea what is going on here, and the time goes on. Now they discover more and more bodies till the body number 6. And when they do their DNA and all of those things, and whatever they do to actually find out who is the actual person, or the person who died here, because it took forever. It actually took forever to actually for them to release the actual people, or to have the names of these people. At this point of time, I don't have the names of the actual victims. So when they count now, or when the whole bodies that were found, and how the bodies are, and who are these people, and they noticed that these were all prostitutes. With all the investigation that they made, they were all prostitutes. But another thing, they were all Zimbabweans. Sifiso, all Zimbabweans. Remember when I said the first person who opened a case for Sifiso, and it was a case of rape, was a Zimbabwean, and Sifiso replied by saying that the lady was lying, because the lady wanted more money. That's why she opened the case, and the case did not even go anywhere, because the lady withdrew the case, or the case was withdrawn. We don't know who actually withdrawn the case. We don't know how it was done. No information. You know, in South Africa, sometimes the parents would actually pay bribes and stuff like that so that the case would disappear. You never know what is the story behind that case. I am very curious about it. I'm very curious if the case had any other deep information about the whole thing. So obviously Sifiso not only killed these women, he also sexually abused them, and also on top of that, one of these ladies lost their cell phones, or he stole one of the cell phones. So I'm gonna quickly, now it's 2024, obviously this case has been dragging since from way back, and like 2023, now 2024. So now this is what was actually said in court. Mkhwanazi killed 6 sex workers, all of whom came from Zimbabwe. He said they had demanded more money from him after they had sex, obviously. Moosa said that after looking at the merits and demerits of the matter, he rejected Mkhwanazi's version of events as being false beyond reasonable doubt. I don't accept the evidence of the state witness. I further find that under the consideration of the totality of the evidence, the prosecution has discharged the honors to prove beyond reasonable doubt that the accused has committed the crimes as charged. Close quote. He added that Mkhwanazi had failed to prove his innocence. Open quote. His version is accordingly rejected as beyond false, said Moosa. Mental before sentencing, obviously, as you all know, that most of the times when these crimes happen, there will be a mental evaluation. Prosecution this week, Ane Mashabela, said it was a state's intention to take Mkhwanazi to a Fontaine psychiatric hospital for risk assessment. The reason is the violence meted against the victims, and there was a pattern. He poses a risk. He didn't just murder them. He targeted certain people. He is a danger to sex workers. He is a dangerous criminal, he said. Defense advocate Vuyo Matekuka was not opposed to his client being referred for mental observation. Moosa ordered that Mkhwanazi be taken for mental evaluation before sentencing was delivered. That is not expected to affect his conviction, but could influence his sentencing. The mental observation is so the court can deliver appropriate sentencing, the judge said. Moosa found Mkhwanazi guilty of 6 counts of murder, 6 of rape, 6 of defeating the ends of justice, and illegal possession of a firearm and ammunition. The court acquitted Mkhwanazi on charges of robbery with aggravating circumstances and convicted him on an alternative charge of theft of cell phone belonging to one of the 6 victims. So at this point of time, the court is set to sit for the judgment and all of those things, so that Moosa can get his actual sentencing after he actually got his psychiatric evaluation. So he still says that he was angry. He killed these women because he was actually scared of going to prison, since he had that case whereby someone who he slept with decided to go and open the case to actually extort him for some couple of rands or couple of 100 rands after they actually did their thing. So all of these prostitutes that died here, which were Zimbabwean born prostitutes, he says that they wanted more money. So why did you go for these specific people from Zimbabwe? Why Zimbabweans only? So that means, for me on my side, I would say this is a case of a serial killer who is actually into certain type of people, or certain type of people coming from a certain country or certain area. Like you never know, these serial killers who have who kills for sexual satisfaction, they have certain types of people that they go for. So this case is like, this guy wanted the Zimbabwean. Maybe it was perpetuated or it was pushed by hate or xenophobia or something like that. I have no clue, but he had a certain type of people that he wanted, and that's what he actually was able to kill. And let me tell you, if they did not catch him with these 6 bodies, he was actually going to do more harm than what he did already on this case. But also on top of it, most of the time serial killers don't really hide the bodies, like hide them away, like dig a very deep hole, and so that they're not going to be captured and all of those things. Most of the times they do things recklessly and leave the body wherever, and that body will definitely be recovered. He did not really take time to take these bodies, maybe take them to somewhere and throw them somewhere and stuff like that. He decided to leave them there, thinking that in his head maybe no one will find them, obviously, because if there is a body in a building, eventually that body will decay, and there will be a smell and stuff like that, and someone will actually go and find. And also something that I didn't talk about was Mkhwanazi said that at one point when the dead was like smelling this thing, that there was something smelling in these compounds, that it is a rat. Mkhwanazi said it is a rat or a cat that died, and that is the reason why it is smelly. Knowing exactly that he did all this at some point, and also one of the bodies he tried to put the body, I think it was the first one that they recovered, tried to put it inside a barrel of oil, like a used oil, and thinking that it will just dissolve in the oil, but it didn't dissolve, and obviously took the body out from this oil. That's when this body was discovered, obviously, at some point. So I cannot wait to hear what is the sentencing of this. I think Mkhwanazi should not be allowed to be out in somehow, because I don't think this guy will be rehabilitated at all. The way his body language, his he looks like there's something wrong, and I think also I cannot wait to hear the actual mental evaluation. What will they say about his mental state? He might be suffering from something like schizophrenia or something sinister, or something that is out there. And obviously, as you all know, most of the times in our black communities, in our black families, we don't really go to the psychologist or the psychiatrist to actually check if there's something that is going on with our mental health, especially during the time that I grew up. I didn't even know anything that has to do with psychologists and psychiatrists. So you can just imagine on their side, also on top of it, these really deep-rooted religious people, they also don't believe in such things. Most of the times, if you've got like mental issues, you have to go and pray about it and all of those things, which is fine, you can do it, but also you have to hear about your mental state through the professionals, right? So yeah, and also I just want to say I'm not diagnosing him at all, so we will only hear from the professionals about his mental state. So please let me know what you think about this case. Did you know about this case? Did you know about this case? Because at some point when I was reading about this case, other people were asking, what is this case? Where did this happen? Because people didn't know anything about this case. And also please let me know down below. And you know I am not a true crime channel. I don't know anything about true crime, but I am trying to move towards that, especially crimes that are happening now. I love to follow these crimes in South Africa, and I would love to talk about these crimes more, to raise awareness and all of that, to give these actual victims their honors and respect, even though they were taken away from their families in this gruesome manner. We should talk about these people, and obviously I don't mind that I did not mention one of their names at all. We need to know more about the perpetrators more than we know about the victim, because these perpetrators we should know about. It's people that are around us. It is our families, it is our friends, it is our better halves or our boyfriends, husbands, girlfriends, wives, and all of those things. So we should know their names. We should know more about them to avoid them, because our justice system keeps on failing us. Anyway, thank you so much for watching till this far. Do you think I should do more of these videos? And also, please don't be harsh on my actual first long video that I delivered about this case. I'll see you on my next upload. Have a fantastic one. Peace out.